Two friends, Frank and Donald, set out on a hunting trip in the mountainous region of Alberta. It began like any ordinary outing, but neither of them could have imagined it would end in tragedy and a mysterious encounter with something wild. Frank recorded the video on the spur of the moment, and it was later uploaded to his friend's YouTube channel, Strange Wilderness. Early in the trip, the two decided to split up and hunt in different parts of the river valley, watching for game from tree stands they had set up. As evening approached, Frank began hearing strange noises coming from the woods, dull thuds, and the sharp crack of breaking branches. He turned on his camera to document what was happening. The sounds grew louder and clearer, especially as he started making his way down from his stand. Trying to pinpoint where the noises were coming from, he noticed a fallen tree in the distance and felt a wave of unease.
I'm getting down.
Deciding it was time to regroup, Frank headed out on his ATV toward the spot where Dawn was set up, hoping to meet before nightfall. When he reached his friend's stand, it was empty. Dawn was nowhere in sight, and the same unsettling noises were now echoing much closer than before. Along with the snapping branches came another sound, something deeper and far more disturbing.
Dawn? Dawn? Shit, man. Just heard something again.
At first, Frank wondered if someone was messing with him, but the feeling of danger kept building, so he hurried back to his ATV. When he tried to start it, the engine wouldn't turn over.
Hey! Is that you?
Stranded without transportation, he had no choice but to continue on foot. The sounds followed him. At one point, he caught sight of something that made his stomach drop and realized they were not alone in those woods. Whether it was an animal or something else entirely, he couldn't tell.
Out of here.
Moving deeper through the forest, Frank came across large animal tracks. He didn't stop to study them. The noises were getting closer. As he tried to put distance between himself and whatever was trailing him, it became clear he wasn't gaining any ground. Eventually, he realized running wasn't working. He stopped, raised his weapon, and fired at a fast-approaching silhouette, but missed.
It's stalking me, whatever it is.
Later, he stumbled upon a strange structure made of branches, similar to formations he had noticed earlier near the river. Nearby were smaller constructions, decorated with animal remains. Not far from there, he saw something that looked disturbingly like an altar. Determined to get out, Frank searched for a trail leading back to safety. After what must have felt like forever, he finally made it back to the same valley where they had started their hunt. That's where he found Don, or what was left of him. Two friends had gone up into the mountains. Only one came back. Don disappeared that night and was never seen again. The video description reads, "Fortunately, Frank Wildchild survived to tell his story, accompanied by video footage documenting his escape through the rugged forest in the dark of night. His longtime friend and hunting partner, Donald Big Calf, was not as fortunate. He was never seen again." Rip Don Big Calf. The creator of the YouTube channel, Paul So Hard, films motorcycle rides through challenging, hard-to-reach locations, sometimes alone, sometimes with friends. He explores abandoned areas, ventures into restricted zones, and rides into places most people wouldn't even dare to enter on foot. His content is usually all about adrenaline, speed, and risk. But in one particular video, something happened that completely changed the tone of the ride. That day, Paul and his friend were simply riding through an overgrown area, seeing how far they could push into it. They kept going deeper into a remote stretch of wilderness that almost no one would willingly enter. Before long, they came across a set of railroad tracks and decided to follow them for fun. After a few minutes, they chose to turn around and head back. That's when Paul noticed something in the grass. At first, they assumed it was trash or possibly animal remains. But as they took a closer look, they realized the discovery seemed disturbing and unnatural. Lying in the grass was something that appeared to be part of human remains.
Like, that is a human skull. Holy crap, that is actually a human head. That is a skull.
I don't think I've ever seen one before.
Bro, that's teeth and everything, like.
That's the murder weapon.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, that's super scary. Should we take a photo at least?
Yeah. Like, I think we gotta go to the authorities on this one. My buddy who's a cop, should we call him? And say we were riding in the woods and we found a human head?
But it's definitely homeless. They're missing some skull.
Some teeth,
I've never seen a human skull outside of a...
But where's the rest of the body? It's just a skull, like if somebody just dumped the skull here.
Yeah, so it can't be that bad. Unless some sort of animal got to him.
Yeah.
The realization set in gradually. What initially felt impossible became harder and harder to deny. The two friends began to understand that they might be looking at human remains. The situation no longer felt like a casual ride. They decided to call the police and avoid touching anything.
Police, I found a human... we're off in the woods, we're riding dirt bikes, and we just found a human skull.
Okay. Do you know where exactly you are? The park that you're at?
No idea, really. We were just kind of riding in some creek bed, ended up here. I can get a pin and, like, have some place for the officers to meet us. But... it's definitely a hike to get here, and it's just a skull we see. I don't see any other parts of a body.
And you're fairly positive that it's real without by looking at it, or you're...
Yeah, it's got like fillings in the teeth and stuff, and it looks fairly real. I'm no doctor, but it definitely looks like a skull.
I got you.
Like, some teeth are missing, some have fillings, some don't.
Okay. What is your name?
I'm Paul.
When officers arrived, they surveyed the area and returned to the discovery site with Paul and his friend. But that wasn't the end of it. In the grass, they found not only a skull. Scattered nearby were bones, vertebrae, shoes, and other human remains.
right through there. That's got a piece of bone.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's the rest of his backbone right there.
Yeah.
It's washed out.
Over here. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look.
I guess was
All the way up. See right there to your left, and then right there behind that.
Oh, there's another one, yeah.
a shoe. Holy shit. Oh, there's a bunch in there. Holy cow.
There's another one there. There's one over there. Holy
My
crap.
guess was someone jumped off the train. That was my first.
How's it going?
For you though, bud, I don't know where back here in this green belt they be shooting.
Yeah, no, I saw bullet holes up there. Yeah, normally we'd in and out of here, but y'all find anything else?
We really haven't been stepping around it, just keeping it as clean as possible. He was wondering if you could get your phone number.
Yeah. I'm scared there's bones in that shoe.
Yeah, I didn't even think.
A full investigation was launched. Specialists and forensic experts were brought in, and the area was carefully searched. Later, it was determined that the remains belonged to an elderly man who had been suffering from dementia. He had wandered off and ended up in the remote area. It is believed that he fell, sustained a head injury, and passed away. Over time, wildlife scattered the remains. Because the location was so isolated and difficult to access, no one had discovered him for years. Thanks to Paul and his friend's chance rod that day, the truth finally came to light, and the man's family was able to learn what happened and lay him to rest with dignity. On May 26th, 2025, a man named Ray Savage released footage no one expected to see. What had seemed like an ordinary, peaceful night in the wilderness turned into something far more disturbing. Something hiding in the shadows.
Actually, pretty happy about this spot. I found a deer trail. Look where it goes. So I, parked down that way, walked up here. It keeps going on up there. And I want to look up that way of the trail.
Ray's intentions were harmless. Just another solo camping trip. His camera was set up to record wildlife. The location was a remote forest trail, rarely touched by people. Perfect for observing deer and other animals. He carefully positioned his trail camera and an audio recorder, hoping to capture natural sounds and movement while camping nearby.
So here's the trail cam. Got it set up. It's facing over there perfectly. But I've got a nice little treat for you guys. There's the sound recorder. Okay. So I'm going to have the trail cam going. I'm also going to have the sound recorder going. I'm going to listen to the audio first, and the trail cam.
For Ray, the night passed without incident. He enjoyed the fresh air and the quiet of the forest, completely unaware of what was happening only a few meters from his campsite. The following day, back at home, he began reviewing the recordings. Among the usual clips of wildlife was something entirely out of place. Something unsettling. The camera had captured a man walking through the forest in the middle of the night, barefoot and shirtless. He was holding an axe. No flashlight, no gear, no clear reason to be wandering through a remote forest at 4 in the morning. The figure moved slowly and with purpose across the frame, like a scene from a horror film. The most chilling part was that this person had been out there while Ray slept, just a short distance away. Fortunately, Ray never encountered the mysterious figure face to face, but it was enough for him to cross that trail off his list for good. Because sometimes, the real danger in the wilderness doesn't come from nature itself, but from other people. When you venture deep into the wilderness, you're bound to come across something strange. A video published in October 2019, filmed on the outskirts of Perm, shows a cameraman heading into the forest and stumbling upon something unsettling. He comes across an unusual structure, sheets of plastic weighed down with wooden planks. When he pulls one of the plastic sheets aside, it reveals what appears to be a makeshift underground shelter.
Там что-то какой-то ход. Непонятно.
As he moves farther into the woods, he discovers another structure. This one is also built from plastic and tarps, but it's constructed above ground, suspended between two trees. A pair of jeans hangs from one branch, a plastic bag from another, and trash is scattered across the ground. Peering inside, he sees someone sleeping in the shelter.
Там кто-то спит.
The cameraman quickly backs away, but before leaving the area, he encounters yet another structure. When he looks inside this one, it's clear that someone lives there as well, though no one is present at the moment. One side is camouflaged with branches, and clothes hang from a line to dry. It appears that a small group of people has settled in this forest, and there's no telling how they would react to a stranger unexpectedly wandering into their territory. What makes it even more unsettling is the location, deep in the woods, dozens of miles from the nearest town. Gary Reed's Unfrequented World is a YouTube channel that, at first glance, looks like a collection of ordinary outdoor vlogs and nature content. Gary goes on photography hikes and metal detecting trips, and he often spends time exploring his large property in the wilderness of northern Ontario, frequently accompanied by his family. But the calm atmosphere of his unfrequented world has been disrupted by something unsettling, a screaming, unidentified creature deep in the woods. Gary was born in the small town of Redbridge, Ontario, and has been surrounded by forest his entire life. In addition to decades of first-hand experience exploring the local landscape, he holds a degree in environmental science and has a strong understanding of the biological systems around him. Because of that, when he says there's something in those woods he can't explain, it carries weight. He describes the sound as a long, drawn-out wail that builds into a rising roar. The noise seemed to move across the entire campsite, shifting from one side to the other before suddenly going silent. On April 30th, 2020, he heard it again.
That sucks. Can you hear screaming?
The sound was almost human, but not quite, with distorted, unnatural tones.
Dish, this thing is still going on over here.
With his camera in hand, Gary cautiously moved toward the source of the scream. His trained eye noticed a strange break in one tree, along with several others that had been pushed over in the same direction, as if something had moved forcefully through the forest. Nearby was a tightly twisted cluster of branches, as though they had been contorted by immense strength.
There's one there.
The farther he went, the more signs of damage he observed, as if something large and heavy had passed through the area. Even more disturbing were the large tracks he found,
Not mine.
which he believes may have been left by something walking upright. The prints didn't resemble typical boot tracks.
Almost see the toes.
After measuring them, he found they were significantly larger than an average human footprint. Still, there is a rational explanation. Rainfall from the previous day may have distorted the snow, making an ordinary track appear much larger.
13¼ inches.
Later, Gary set up trail cameras in the woods. Footage captured on March 3rd became some of the most compelling evidence. On March 7th, he and his neighbor heard another piercing scream, this time resembling the shrill cry of a child. Gary stepped outside into the pitch-black night and found himself alone in the forest.
I gotta turn the dish back on. I can hear whistling.
In one clip, a pair of glowing eyes can be seen behind him, possibly just light reflecting off his glasses into the camera lens. However, when they returned to the same area the following day, his dog became visibly agitated and refused to move forward, as if something unsettling lay ahead. The signs of destruction were easy to spot. Bent and broken trees lined the path. It seems unlikely that natural causes alone could explain the damage. Some trunks looked as if they had been grabbed and forcefully pulled downward. In one case, a branch appeared to have been twisted off and placed back into position.
That's about 8 feet. And it's got a good twist to it.
Despite the tree otherwise looking healthy. Elsewhere, a healthy green tree had been split clean in half. While lightning could theoretically explain such damage,
You can see the bark, and you can actually see lines. Well, those are tooth marks. See all those little lines are tooth marks.
similar destruction appeared too frequently to dismiss. Whatever is capable of snapping trees and emitting those kinds of screams would pose a serious threat to anyone wandering those woods. And these events have unfolded over just the past few months. The channel contains over a year's worth of footage, documenting sightings and evidence related to the alleged creature. The creator of the YouTube channel Sidestep Adventures into History heads into the forests of Georgia and unexpectedly finds exactly what he had been searching for, an old grave hidden among the trees.
Some of the flowers sometimes.
This has the bottom part of the writing on it.
Oh, yep, there it is.
It says, "This is Jane F."
Yep, there it is. Sacred to the memory of Mrs. Jane.
He carefully clears it off and respectfully reads the woman's name aloud. Beneath the heavy grave marker, he discovers a crushed bouquet of flowers left by someone who once cared deeply for her. The petals are in remarkably good condition and have retained much of their color. Finding relatively fresh-looking flowers at a grave that dates back more than a century is strange enough on its own. But as he studies the inscription more closely, he realizes who this Mrs. Jane is to him.
Stacy Duckworth and Samuel were my great-great-great-grandparents.
Wow.
So she was actually a half-sister to my great-great-grandfather.
He had quite literally stumbled upon a carefully concealed grave in the middle of the woods. Flowers lay beneath the headstone, even though the burial dates back to 1843. Then he makes an even more surprising discovery. The woman buried there is a distant relative. He admits that the entire experience feels almost like fate. It's as if the spirit of his ancestor had been waiting to be found.